Many people want to build wealth, but do not understand how the stock market works. They fear losing money, do not know where to start from, or believe investing is only for the rich. But here is the thing, the right knowledge is all you need. This is why the Naira Academy has created the How to Make Money from Stock course, coming up on the 7th to 10th July 2026. In this course, you learn how to understand the stock market, how to diversify portfolio, and also how to invest profitably. Register now with the registration fee of 25,000 Naira. But here is the good thing, the early bird offer is still on. For the Money Click members, the early bird offer is 12,500 Naira, and then for the non-members, the early bird fee is 17,500 Naira. So what are you waiting for? Register now, and I hope to see you in class.
So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence your financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing for Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwuemeka Oyenizi and I'm the founder of the Naira Academy. Bye-bye.
Hello, billionaires. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to our Thursday live. Our Wednesday live session today on the 1st of July, 2026. Yes, today is the first day of July, and it is also Wednesday, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to all those who joined up early. Yes, I can see we have numbers here again today. Thank you, and thank you to the group leaders. Thank you so much to the cohort leaders. I see you all. Thank you so much to all the subgroup leaders who keep driving everyone to ensure that our book reviews happen as they're supposed to happen. And honestly, the book reviews have been awesome in the past. In fact, June, I think we should give kudos to all those who did book review in the month of June. It's been really awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And happy to have you all here today. And a happy new month. Okay. So Henry Digbini just says that your newsletter yesterday hit really hard. It was like a good smack on the hand. I'm so guilty. I'm happy that, I was able to bring you back. I hope you remain consistent for the rest of the year. Please do remain consistent. Consistency is a superpower. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to be looking at how to know if your relationship with money is healthy. How to know if your relationship with money is healthy. If I'm talking about that newsletter yesterday, I think I'm still going to send that newsletter to the DMs because a lot of people actually did not open their emails so that more people can see it. Yes, I'm going to. Thank you so much. I'm going to send it to everyone's DM so that everyone can read it. That's what I'm going to do this afternoon, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Um, okay, okay. All right, sir. Thank you. Okay, so how to know if your relationship with money is healthy? That's what we're here for. Remember, this month, July, every July of every year is our month of healing for financial trauma. It's our month of creating awareness about financial trauma. And that's what this month is all about. Creating awareness and letting people know that there's something like this that exists. You know, when people think about financial health, all they think about is numbers. How much they earn, how much they save, how much they invest, how much debt they owe. You know, those things matter. I'm not saying they don't matter, they matter a lot, but they don't tell the whole story. They don't. Because you can have money and still have an unhealthy relationship with money. Yet, you can have money and you still have a very, very, very unhealthy relationship with money. Right? So it's important that we understand these things when it comes to money. Money is not just about just talking about the numbers. Like in the January cohort this morning, I was telling them something that scarcity can stay longer after poverty leaves. So you can still have money, but you're still carrying the dividends of poverty with you, if I may put it like that. Right? So you can have money and still have an unhealthy relationship with money. Very unhealthy relationship with money. So having money doesn't automatically correct your relationship with money. So you can be building wealth while still carrying unhealthy money patterns. Right? So just as physical health is more than body weight, right? Of course, you know, physical health is more than body weight. So just like physical health is more than just your body weight, financial health is more than your bank balance. Your financial health also includes your relationship with money. So the question is not only always how much do I have? A deeper question we should always ask ourselves is what kind of relationship do you have with money? What kind of relationship do you have with money? What kind of relationship do you have with money? Yes, let me acknowledge those that are on Instagram. Yes, Mr. Study George, Tita Academy, Madam Ahunsi, Madam Brume, and everyone who has joined us today on Instagram. Happy to have you. Thank you for joining. Right? So money is neither good nor bad. I want us to get that clear about money. Because when we talk about relationship with money, so you don't start looking at money as money is the one twisting the relationship or making it. Money is not that good nor bad. Money is a tool, right? What money does is that money amplifies, money reveals, money enables, right? But it also exposes. Money does not create character. Money reveals character. So if someone is generous, more money will allow them to become more generous. If somebody lacks self-control, more money magnifies that lack of self-control. And that is why financial health begins long before financial wealth. So there are certain questions we need to ask ourselves that we must actually ask ourselves if we want to know if our relationship with money is healthy. There are certain questions we must ask ourselves. The first question Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We just had a little network glitch. Had a little glitch with the network, but we are fully back right now. All right. So, as I was saying, there are 10 questions that we must ask ourselves. There are 10 questions that we must ask ourselves to know if your relationship with money, to know if our relationship with money is healthy. All right? So, what are those 10 questions? What are those 10 questions? Give me a minute. The network seems to be coming back again with full force. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me in the comments. If you can still hear me, just let me know that you can hear me, please. I think we're cut off again. Just to be sure. If you can hear me. Okay, loud and clear. I see you. All right, thank you. This is a confirmation. Thank you very much. Okay, so 10 questions. Number one question is, does money give you peace or constant anxiety? Does money give you peace or constant anxiety? Do you think about money every day with fear? When you think about money, what emotions come out when you think about money? What emotions spring out when you think about money? Do you constantly worry? Do you constantly worry even when your situation is relatively stable? You have money, but you're still not satisfied. You're still not settled. Eh? Do you lose sleep every little financial decision that you have to make? Once it has to do with money, you start getting restless. Do you find yourself in that position? Or do you have a plan? Do you have a budget? Do you have investments? Healthy relationships with money are not free from challenges, but they are guided by preparation rather than panic. So if you always see yourself in that position where you are always panicking about money, then you need to carefully examine your relationship with money. Your relationship with money is unhealthy. It's unhealthy, right? It's unhealthy. So I was having a discussion, and I think I haven't shared that. I'm going to share it after this class. Somebody sent in an observation to me just yesterday. And so she told me that she just realized that she has money anxiety. And how did she find out? So they had a trip planned for the holiday. Someone in the money click planned for the holiday. They've planned for this trip for months. The money has been ready for months for the trip, for the holiday. And the husband had reminded her to book. The husband used to book the flight, but this time she was to book the flight, and the husband reminded her months ago to book this flight, right? And booking the flight would have cost about €1,000, and somehow spending that bulk amount of money, even though it was available, she couldn't. She was like, how will I just take out this money just like that? So she said she delayed. Something he had just kept holding her back, even though the money has been ready, planned for, and everything. But something kept holding her back, herself. And eventually, she booked that flight late. For her to get a better deal with the airline, she had to move the dates. And moving the dates meant they had to pay more on accommodation. So she delayed the process, she delayed booking the flight, and eventually she's even paying more at the end of the day. But she didn't do that just because she did not want to book the flights. She didn't book those flights because she found it so hard to spend that money. Yes, Not being able to spend money also can be a sign of anxiety. And she told me something that if she was to spend that money to 200 euros in bits, it would have been easier for her to spend that amount and even more. If she had spent 200 euro, 200 euro, 200 euro across some time, it should have felt easier for her. But spending that bulk money at once felt so hard. You know, there's something I usually, and at the end of the day, she's spending more now. She's going to spend more than the 1,000 euros that she was supposed to spend on booking the tickets. And this brings me back to something that I would usually, a lot of times, a lot of people have financial anxiety and they don't know. And that's the reason why people spend more money, is because of financial anxiety. I tell people that cheap sometimes can be very expensive, very, very expensive. And it is in cheap that you spend more money. It is in looking for what is cheap that you spend more money most of the time, right? Do you know that? What will I use for example now? Let's use a sachet of milk. Let's use milk for example. If you're to buy the refill pack of milk, right, you will spend less if you're to buy as against buying the small sachet of milk. When you calculate the amount of small sachet that you buy, that will give you the amount you have in a pack of refill of let's say 400 grams, you would have spent way more than buying that 400 grams at once. Where the producers make more money is actually from the retailers. It is in retail purchases that more money is made. It is in the pay small that more money is made. I remember some months ago here, I gave people an analysis. This was last year, although I think they've changed their tariff now. That was then Airtel. Personally, and I think it's something that I inherited from my mom. My mom growing up would never buy anything in retail. Everything my mom bought was in bulk. And it's not because she had much money. My mom would not buy it until she has money to buy it in bulk. I'm not kidding. So those days, it could be that we don't have Maggi at home. Mom will not buy Maggi in small pieces until she has the money to buy the big packs or the cartons. That was how bad it was. And somehow, I absorbed that thing. I absorbed it to the point that for everything I do, and my wife even knows to today, I don't buy things small. If I don't buy it in bulk, I don't buy at all. Because the small, you're being cheated way more. Yes, of course, you need to have more money to buy in bulk. And it is that idea that you can't put the money together that make people to buy small. At the end of the day, you buy more. For example, the milk aside, let's say that you want to buy airtime, not airtime. Let's say, what is it called? Data subscription for internet. So I've forgotten, I don't really know how much it is right now, but I know that last year when I was doing it myself, I used to get 1 terabyte, right, on Airtel. But that 1 terabyte on Airtel was, I think it was for 100,000 for 1 year. Yes, for 1 year. So you pay 100,000, you get 1 terabyte for 1 year, right? Even though I only lasted maybe 10 months for me as at that time. But here's the thing. At 1 terabyte for 100,000 meant that I was paying 8,000 naira for 83 gigabytes thereabout per month. But if you were to pay monthly subscriptions, for you to be able to get up to 83 gigabytes, as at then, you would have had to pay almost 20,000 naira. And I was getting it for 10,000, for less than 10,000, 8,000 something. Right? So that's the idea of bulk buying. But here's the thing. The thing is understanding the relationship behind it, understanding the mindset behind it. One of the reasons why people do not buy in bulk is not always because they don't have the money. Just like the story I told you, sometimes it's financial anxiety. It is that problem with bringing out that bulk money. That's the biggest problem. Is the problem. That idea that, oh, I'll have to bring out the 100,000 naira for data. Hey, how can I bring out? So you just remove 100,000 naira and just buy data. But at the end of the year, you'll be spending 240,000 or more buying it small. But you had the 100,000 to pay for it for 1 year, but you didn't because of financial anxiety. A lot of us are living with financial anxiety and we don't even know. And that's why the people who give us the options of pay small make a whole lot more money. Right? Okay. Madam Linda said she started buying the bulk after she heard the Mangala fish story. I don't know who has not heard the Mangala fish story here, but maybe I'll tell that story another time. I'll tell the Mangala fish story another time. Or you can still go back to videos of last year or only this year and you'll find that story. All right. Thank you so much for reminding me about that, Madam Linda. Yes, so there's an advantage of buying in bulk over buying small. But a lot of people's financial anxiety will not let them. I've seen very rich people who still buy small. And financial anxiety is one of those things that prevent them. Right? Let's move to number 2. Number 2 question you should ask yourself is, can you say no to yourself? To understand if you have a healthy relationship with money, ask yourself, can you say no to yourself? Can you say no to yourself? Can you say this Mangala story? Don't worry, I'll tell this Mangala story again. I'll tell it again. Can you say no to yourself? Yes, buying in bulk saves it saves you. Buying in bulk it will save your life, especially if you're living. Before I go over to number 2, especially if you're living in Nigeria, where inflation can move from 0 to 30 within 2 days, within 1 week, your best bet is to buy in bulk. Sometimes you buy things in bulk and you have no business buying those things for the next 6 months. But trust me, if you're buying that small, you can buy it today for 200 naira. Tomorrow they'll tell you it's 400 naira. You will be the subject, you will always be subject to inflation if you're always buying small. Right? If you're always buying small. That's growing up, my mom hated the idea till today. And somehow it affected all of us. And that's why I say that, your relationship with money too is inherited. It's also inherited. It's not just something that. So if you find yourself and you're always buying things small, you buy one, you want to cook with Maggi today, you go and buy 10 naira Maggi, or you go and buy 5 naira Maggi today and cook. Tomorrow you buy. There are people that anytime they want to cook, they must go to the market. If they must make soup today, every single thing they will need for that soup, they must go to the market for it. It's okay if you're going for the perishable things that you cannot always skip. But by going for everything, you need to watch your relationship with money. There are people that if they must make rice today, there are people that they won't even buy rice in bulk. They would rather buy 1 cup of rice, 2 cups, 1 mudu, cook, it will finish every day small. Every day small. And they're not realizing how impactful those actions are to their financial health, to their financial life. Now you go dey cry pass that Nigeria has killed me, Nigeria is killing me. I can't remember the last time I bought data and I buy what is it called? I buy 1 month data or 2 months. Let me tell you, my wife is watching here. So when I got married, my wife used to do, in fact, her own was so bad. My wife used to do weekly. So I called her, what they say, what is this? Weekly what? So I had to sit down and I had to calculate the cost for her. And I showed her that if you're doing this, you're paying times 2 what you're supposed to pay. Times 2. If you're buying rice and you're buying from the retailer, remember the retailer is also going to make money. And there's no time you stop eating rice. So it will only pay you if you can just go and buy the bag and save yourself costs. If you don't have the money, wait. Some people say, oh, wait until you have the money complete to buy the bag, and you go and buy the bag. Wait. There's a thing in waiting. So let me look at this comment. It says, last week, I went to buy snails. When I saw the 1,000 naira watts, when I saw the 1,000 watts and a basket, I checked the full basket. The woman said it was 2,500. And I offered 2,000, and she said I should pay that. I immediately paid. Yeah, which is better. Which is better. But somebody would not even bother asking about the basket because somehow in their minds they feel no, it's going to be too much. So you just go for the small ones. All right? Just go for the small ones. There's something to gain when you buy in bulk. See, the producers make more money from the retail sales. See, the producers of milk make more money from those small sachet than from the refills. Yeah. And of course, it costs more to produce the small sachets than to produce the refills, the big ones. So you are saving yourself a lot when you are not living that life of buying small. Some people, they want to, even let's say they want to just drink Gary today, they will have to buy the Gary that they have to drink. Mr. Chris says that why am I drag? I have to drag you people. Some people, every little thing, they will buy it. They'll try it. I have to drag her too. I know she's watching. I just have to drag her small. She has repented, sir. She has repented from that. I had to show her reasons why she needed to repent from it, And that is that thing of coming with different blueprints and trying as much as possible to manage and be on the same page. But here is the thing. The thing behind it the most is that anxiety. When you just see, you're spending that amount of money to do that. Oh, wow. Some people tell you, I can never pay 1 year subscription. I can never buy rice in bags. I can never buy in bulks. It is the anxiety that is speaking. It's not really them. It's not really them. Right? It's not really them. So when you buy in bulk, you pay more for less. So get over your anxiety, or you get over your anxiety, it puts you in a better position to do better with money. Right? Yes, you'll always be hit by inflation if you're buying small. Always. Thank you for that, Madam Linda Oku. Right? Number 2 question is, can you say no to yourself? My people, ask yourself that question. Can you say no to yourself? One of the strongest indicators of financial maturity is self-control. So please ask yourself again, can you say no to yourself? Can you control yourself? Can you delay gratification? Can you walk away from those unnecessary purchases? Can you resist lifestyle pressure? Can you stick to your budget? Even when things are not going the way you want, even when your emotions are rising, can you stick to your budget? Right? See, if every desire immediately becomes a purchase, then money may be controlling you more than you're controlling money. So saying no to yourself is you having control over yourself. But you'll be shocked, a lot of people can't say no to themselves. If they want it, they get it. If they desire it, they get it. If they just, for a little, just sniff it, tell themselves that, I want this thing, I feel like getting it, they just go and get it. They can't say no to themselves. Right? Madam Tony just shared, she says, this pay or buy small, don't do me something. Cool, Johnny, don't click those for body click. Please stay away from buy small, please run. Whenever you see buy small, they're after you. They are after you. Run. It is not for your own good. Run. Even they buy small tickets that you're buying small when you want to travel. When you buy it at once, you pay less than when you buy small. You always pay more, right? So let's get back to saying no to yourself. It's difficult to say no to yourself. A lot of people can't say no to themselves. And here's the thing. If you can't say no to yourself, you cannot say no to other people. If you can't say no to yourself, you can't say no to other people. So over the weekend, we were at TIP Summit in Enugu, right? And it was awesome. TIP Summit in Enugu was an awesome experience, right? So, but on the journey to that trip, I had an encounter. So sitting just beside me was a commissioner for one of the states in the Southeast. So we got talking and we're having a conversation about money, of course. And he told me that his biggest problem with money is other people's problem. Indirectly, he was saying that his biggest problem is his inability to say no to people's requests. But like I'm saying now, if you can't say no to people's requests, it starts from you not being able to say no to yourself. You must first learn to control yourself before you can control those requests that are coming from other people. But lack of control, lack of saying no to people comes from a lack of self-control, lack of control to even say no to yourself. So if you can say no to yourself, you can say no to other people. All right? Number 3 question did you ask yourself, let's move because of time, is does your self-worth rise and fall with your income? Number 3, does your self-worth rise and fall with your income? You know, some people feel valuable only when they have money. Are you there? Are you on that boat? Are you on that boat? Some people only feel valuable when they have money. Only when they can see they have money. That's the only time they feel valuable. Some people feel less of themselves when money becomes tight for them. They even hide. Some people hide themselves when they feel like they don't have enough. They hide themselves. So ask yourself this question and be truthful to yourself when you're answering it. Because your value as a human being should never fluctuate with your bank balance. If your value, the way you see yourself, your self-worth fluctuates according to your bank balance, then there's a problem with your relationship with money. Because money is something you manage. It is not your identity. So if your bank balance determines how you see yourself per time, determines if you see yourself as worthy, determines if you see your self-worth as something that is high up or low, determines if you see yourself as valuable or not, then it means that money has become your identity. And money should never be your identity. It shouldn't. Right? Yes, when some people don't have money, they feel useless because they don't have money, because they've tied their self-worth to money. And that's a wrong and unhealthy relationship with money. Number 4, are most of your financial decisions emotional? So think about the last few things that you bought. What drove you to buy those things? Is it planning? Is it purpose? Or were you just driven by excitement? You just excited, you saw it, you were just excited, this would be nice, so and you just got it. Or are you driven by stress? Like some of us here that buy and buy and buy when we're stressed. Like some of us that eat when we're stressed. Yes, sounds funny, but some people eat a lot when they're stressed. When they're stressed, their stress liver is just to eat. Right? So your last few purchases, what inspired you to buy it? Is it comparison? Did you buy it just because some people have it already? Other people have it, and you now want to have it. Did you get it because you felt lonely? Is it loneliness that drove you? Is it anger that drove you? People buy things out of anger. Maybe somebody just vexed them because they had something. They just vex, go buy the same thing. Or is it pressure? Pressure that every other person has it and you don't have it? Or is it fear? See, if any of those things, excitement, stress, comparison, loneliness, anger, pressure, fear, if any of these things determine what you buy, then you also have an unhealthy relationship with money. It means that you spend emotionally. You spend emotionally, right? It means that your emotions determine what and when you spend. And honestly, it's good for a lot of us to be truthful to us when it comes to this, right? Take some moments, ask yourself these questions over and over again, and tell yourself the right answers, right? Emotional spending is a symptom of unhealthy money relationship. But you need to be honest with yourself before you can know if you have or if you spend emotionally. But if you do, then there's an unhealthy relationship with money. Number 5, are you building wealth or just looking wealthy? Are you building wealth or just looking wealthy? And this is another question that requires honesty from all of us, right? Because a lot of us are appearing wealthy, but we're not wealthy. We're not building wealth. Little energy is being put to build wealth. And how do you know if you're building wealth? It depends on your priorities. Are you prioritizing assets, investments, businesses? Are you prioritizing cash flow? That's how you know if you're building wealth. How do you know if you're building appearance? How do you know if you're just looking wealthy? It is when your primary focus is on appearance, luxury, impressing people, status. There are people that everything about their life is about other people. It's just about, oh, if you ever find yourself in that position where you're wondering, what will people say? Then you're in this WhatsApp group. In fact, you're in 2 WhatsApp groups. You're in the WhatsApp group of those who make money decisions from emotions, and you're also in the WhatsApp group of those who are trying to look wealthy. What will people say? So you just want to impress people. So your decisions are coming from a place of, wanting to just show people what you want them to see so that they don't say what you don't want to hear. Thank you so much, Madam Christie. Madam Christie says she used to be on that table of eating when she is stressed, right? But thank God she's no longer there. Hallelujah. All right, right? So a lot of people's relationship with money prioritize substance. They prioritize substance, or they prioritize image over substance. Right? It's all about how they want to appear to be seen. It's about status. You see, this thing of just looking wealthy. I'll give you a typical example. A typical example is taking your children to a school, in quotes, they say is for the wealthy. It's taking your children to that school where they pay a lot of money. Right? Because you're taking the child there because you want other people to know that, you are also among the people who are doing well. But deep down inside, there are no investments anywhere. Deep down inside, if anything happens to your job, you still can't even pay for that school because there's nothing to fall back to. But you pay for that fees. But you give yourself the excuse that you're doing it for the sake of your child, to give your child quality education. It is not the reason, deep down. Deep down, it is for status. Deep down, it is to belong to the group of those that their children attend so and so school. Deep down, it is for yourself more than it is for the child. And that is an unhealthy relationship with money. Number 6, can you celebrate someone else's success without feeling threatened? I want to say this one again, and I want us to internalize it. Can you celebrate someone else's success without feeling threatened? Can you? Can you? You know, this one comes, what brings up this one, right? What was the word? What exposes that fuel of threats when someone else's success is being celebrated, or you feel threatened or something, or you feel uncomfortable, is comparison. Comparison quietly destroys financial peace. Right? Comparison will make you that you cannot celebrate another person's progress without feeling inadequate. So somebody else is celebrating, somebody else is saying, "Oh, thank God for achieving so, 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 and so." But somehow inside of you, you're not feeling inadequate in yourself. You're not feeling like, oh God, this thing, I wish it was me. You're beginning to compare yourself. But Anthony George, thank you very much. Say, Piki, when to send you message, I'm telling you. Piki, when to send you message, they kill yourself around. So you're beginning to compare yourself. Some people can't celebrate others without comparing themselves to that person. And that will lead you to unnecessary upgrades. You now go and buy a car because they bought car and celebrated, so you want to buy car and celebrate. You now enter competition spending because you want to compete to see who will spend more. And all these things is unnecessary financial pressure for yourself. And before you know it, you start resenting yourself even for what you're doing. See, a healthy relationship with money is you understanding that someone else's success does not reduce your opportunities. So that someone else is successful does not mean that your own opportunity to become successful has been closed. You too can also be successful. But don't go comparing yourself to everybody that you see. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. Number 7, are you comfortable talking about money? Some people never discuss money. Some people, when you bring money talk, they just leave the room. They're uncomfortable with it. In fact, in some families, money is never spoken about. Right? Nobody talks about money. Anything about money, budgeting, no, nothing. You don't mention it. So money is a taboo. It's a subject that is taboo for most families. And that also shows an unhealthy relationship with money. Sometimes some parents do it in the way that they feel that, oh no, children they are too young to talk. They are too young to talk about money. They are too young to learn money. There's something else behind it. Because healthy financial relationship encourages learning, openness, it encourages growth. And what silence does, it allows that unhealthy habit to continue unchallenged. So when everybody keeps quiet, nobody wants to talk about money, then there's an unhealthy habit that is growing and is continuously growing. So if you find yourself that you're not comfortable talking about money, then you have an unhealthy relationship with money that needs to be corrected. Okay. I see another comment here. Madam Leader says, sometimes, coach, parents put black tags on their working class children. Yes. Yes, very true. Very true. Very, very, I agree with that. I agree with this. Right? Black tax is a thing. But then also, when you grow yourself emotionally, then you get to that point where you can respectfully say no to you, even your parents. Yes, respectfully say no. But like I said, if you can't say no to yourself, you cannot say no to any other person. You can't. You can't. Okay. Okay, I see comments, more comments. So Madam Batasha says, my dad told me my children know money too much because they were adding up sums of money. Interesting. Yeah. That your children know money too much because they were adding up sums of money. Well, so that tells you the mindset. So he feels they shouldn't talk about money, they shouldn't know about money too much. And that's how a lot of us were raised, actually. not to talk about money, not to mention it. In fact, when you mention money in some families, they begin to look at you like this child. It's as if you're beginning to steal. Like you're talking about money like this, right? Sometimes, in fact, somehow it has been ingrained in certain traditions, family traditions, that you don't mention money. If you mention money, let's say you don't steal. For you to even mention it, yeah, this child, it's as if you started stealing. So these are some things that we need to change. The things we need to change, right? These are some relationship with money that we need to correct. Number 8 is, does money control your decisions? You heard that right. Does money control your decisions? Yes, so MCK3 Wall, thank you so much, man, Anthony George. Let them know too much of money. It is better for them to know too much of money than to know nothing about money. And that's why the Money Click Kids exists, to teach your children about money. And before I even go forward, that's also why we are hosting the Smart Money Kids workshop. Yes, that is coming up very soon for our children and our teenagers. If you have children and teenagers, this is a virtual boot camp for children and teenagers, a whole 5 days boot camp for your children and teenagers, different classes for the two of them. The 7 to 12 have a different class. The 13 to 17 have a separate class. And all they'll be learning during the summer holiday is money, right? Money, money, money. We need to expose them to this. We can't say it enough. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Yes. But Batasha says, it'd be like say you don't steal when the child mentions money. Truly, truly. That was the order of things in those days. Whenever a child speaks about money, if you ask your parents, Mommy, how much did you buy this thing? So will you give it back to me? It's almost like it's a taboo. Don't even mention, don't ask how much things were bought. Don't ask anything that is money. So somehow that conversation about money was completely avoided. Completely avoided. And it is not a healthy way to relate to money. Then we'll move to the next one. Does money control your decisions? Does money control your decisions? It's a good question to ask ourselves. See, money can influence your decisions, but money should not dominate your decisions. Right? So, can you give generously without resentment? Can you invest patiently without panicking? Can you make wise decisions without chasing trends? Can you refuse opportunities that violate your value? Or does money constantly determine your emotions, your identity, your priority? Is it money that determines everything about your life? Right? Does money control your decisions? There's this thing about young girls of nowadays. You see on social media where they will say that, oh, if you're not bringing money, I'm not listening to you. So, the first thing you need to do. Meanwhile, we're going to be talking more about that. For those in the inner circle, I'm going to be teaching in the inner circle tomorrow, and it's going to be an interesting topic. And that's why you see girls, if you're not talking money, I'm not listening. So their first, what determines who they talk to, what determines the relationship they get into is money. Money is already making the decisions for them. Money is already making decisions for them. Madam Bilki says, my 7-year-old son will be asking what he can sell to make money. I asked him to make beads and go sell in his class. But I get this is his teachers discourage him. But then every day he keeps asking how. Your advice to him is a very good one. Let him make something and sell. But if you can't sell it to school, let him try to sell it elsewhere. Start with family and friends. That is always a very good place to start. And this is one of the things that we teach children in the Money Click Kids program. Okay. Mrs. Blessing says, a 10-year-old knows the cheapest shop in the estate. 3 boy. Yes. The boy. This one is cracking me up. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So, money should not dominate the reasons why you make decisions. Money should not be the determining factor for your decisions. Some people only are nice to people they feel they can get money from. That's money controlling your decisions. So your decision to be nice is determined by money. Some people are only kind to people they perceive to be comfortable or rich. They are very unkind to poor people. That is money controlling their decisions. See, a lot of people, money determine what they do and what they do not do. And that is a very unhealthy relationship with money. Very, very unhealthy relationship. So money determines, how can money determine if you're nice to the next person beside you? How? But these things happen. Right? Number 9, can you enjoy money without worshiping it? Time is almost gone. I'll move faster. Can you enjoy money without worshiping it? Number 9. Right? Some people fear spending every naira. Every single penny they want to spend, they're afraid. If you tell them it's 20 naira, God, 20 naira, why? Some people are afraid to spend money. No matter how little it is, they're afraid to spend it. For others, they spend everything that comes their way. Right? Neither extreme is healthy. It is not healthy to spend very little. It is also not healthy to spend extremely so much. A healthy relationship with money is recognizing that money has a purpose. Right? So money should be enjoyed wisely, invested intentionally, shared generously, managed responsibly. Not hoarded, not worshipped, not wasted. When you're hoarding money, you're worshiping money. Yes. When you're hoarding money, when you feel pain whenever you spend money, then you're worshiping money. You're worshiping money. All right? There's something that we teach in the MCK that I teach the children. There's something I usually tell them. I tell them that to make money, you must learn to give. Right? You must learn to give. So I said that money should be enjoyed wisely, if I remember that part. Right? Money should be enjoyed wisely. Money should be invested intentionally. I'm responding to Madam Ann now. Money should be shared generously. Money should be managed responsibly. Right? Money should not be hoarded. Money should not be worshipped. Money should not be wasted. There's something that happens in your mind. This is going back to what I said I used to tell children, the Money Click kids, about giving. Something happens when you give. When you give, that is also you telling yourself, telling God, telling the universe that I know I can get more. When you don't give, that is you believing you can't have more. So every time you're to spend money on things you've planned for, now, when I talk about giving and spending, please, I'm not talking about just on anything, on things that have been planned for and budgeted. When you're about to spend on things you've planned for, on things you've budgeted, right? Then you should be able to do it without feeling any form of retraction. Why? Because you should know that at the back of your mind that I'll make it back again 100-fold. That should be your belief. But if you're the type that you're always hoarding money, then there's a belief in you that will prevent you from growing wealth. There's a belief in you that is telling you that if you take away this money now, if you give it out, then you don't know when it will come back again. And that's a wrong belief. That's a very wrong belief. That is you restricting yourself mentally. So at no point should you ever tell yourself that I don't know if I give her this money, I don't know when I'll make it back. Always believe it will come back to you. Always believe it, and it will. And that's the mind of a giver. But we're not talking about on cultural generosity here. We're talking about giving according to what you can afford. Right? So when you're hoarding money, you're worshiping money, you're making money your everything. Money is a tool and you should treat it as one. Right? We're rounding up now. The last question is number 10. If you suddenly earned 10 times more today, would your financial habits change? Did you get that? If you suddenly earned 10 times more, would your financial habits change? Or would only your lifestyle change? When you ask yourself that question, it will reveal quite a lot of things to you, because many people do not need more income. They need healthier money habits. Right? And without those habits, more income will create more opportunities for them. For some people, if their income should increase today 10 times, it will result to bigger spending. It will result to bigger financial mistakes. And that's why you need to fix your relationship with money before you come in contact with money. And that's why I always say you need to increase your capacity for managing money before you come in contact with more money. So many of us inherited our relationship with money. Just like I told you about how I inherited bulk buying from my mom, just by learning from her, right? So we learned and inherited a lot of things by watching our parents, by watching people around us, by watching people in our community, by watching people, a lot of things, by going through economic hardship, by just being in a culture. So some people inherited scarcity thinking. Some people inherited fear. Some people inherited guilt. See, there are people that every time they spend a dime, they feel guilty. There are people that inherited overgiving. They saw their parents give and give and give away everything. They also give like that today. There are people that inherited financial secrecy. Some people them and financial secrecy are like 5 and 6. There are people that even their spouses do not know how much they make. That's financial secrecy. There are people that nobody around them, their children, nobody know how much they make. That's financial secrecy. There are people that inherited status pressure. The pressure to always show that we are part of this particular class. Because you watched your parents do the same thing. There are people who also inherited wisdom. The important thing is recognizing what you have inherited. That's the most important thing. Because what is inherited is not necessarily permanent. So you must recognize what you've inherited. Even the Bible speaks about our relationship with money, right? It speaks about it more than we even realize. There's a particular verse, 1 Timothy 6:10, that says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." And that is one of the most misinterpreted verses in the Bible. Everybody will now say, "Oh, love of money, money is the root of all evil." They never said money is the root of all. It says love of money. So that verse never condemned money. What it condemned was an unhealthy relationship with money. A love of money is what it condemned. Right? So it's trying to tell you that, yeah, it's okay to have money, but don't make it too extreme. See, love of money is the reason why people kill to have money. So money is good, but when the relationship becomes unhealthy, it becomes a problem. So an unhealthy relationship with money means that a healthy relationship with money means that money serves you. You don't serve money. You make decisions from what you want to do, from purpose, from stewardship, from long-term thinking. You're not making your decisions from fear, from shame, from comparison, from guilt, from unresolved trauma. Your bank account is just telling you how much you have. Your relationship with money tells you how well money has you. So one can improve without the other improving. Your bank account can improve without your relationship with money improving. And that's why the healthiest financial goal is not simply becoming richer. It's becoming wiser, because when your relationship with money becomes healthy, every other thing becomes easier for you. Budgeting becomes easier. Investing becomes consistent. Generosity more joyful. You're not doing generosity and you're dying out of it. Contentment becomes natural. Wealth becomes more sustainable. So a healthy relationship with money is not measured by the size of your income. No. It is measured by freedom, by wisdom, by peace with which you manage money. Right? So heal your relationship with money before you try to grow it. And if you answered yes to any of those questions that we asked, the 10 questions that we asked, right? Don't be discouraged. Why? Because awareness is the first step to change. Many people don't have a financial knowledge pattern. They don't have a financial knowledge problem. What they have is an unhealed relationship with money. That's the problem a lot of people have. And that's the reason why we are running the healing from financial trauma course. Right? And we're going to be having a guest speaker on that course. Coach Wendy is going to be the guest speaker that we're going to be having on the on the healing from financial trauma course. And it is one course that all of us should be a part of. Right? Because we're going to help you identify those hidden beliefs that are driving your financial decisions. We're going to help you understand how your childhood experiences and family history have shaped your money habits today. And until you understand them, you can't break free. You can't build a healthier relationship with money. And we're going to help you develop practical habits that support your long-term wealth and financial peace. Because you cannot consistently build a healthy financial future while you're still operating from an unhealthy financial foundation. So healing is not separate from wealth building. Healing is part of wealth building. Right? So wealth building and healing are not two separate things. They are one and the same thing. So join the healing from financial trauma course, right? And begin transforming not just your finances, but start transforming your relationship with money itself. It's that important. All right. If you're here in the Money Click program, you're just to pay $13.5 to be a part of the healing from financial trauma course, right? You're paying just $13.5 to be a part of the course. If you're not in the Money Click program, you pay $17.5. You pay $17.5 if you're not in the Money Click program, and these are early bird offers, right? When the early bird offer expires, the price goes back to $30,000. This is where we come to the end of today's session. Remember, like we said earlier, our Smart Money Kids workshop is back again. We have it every year. It's a 5 days virtual boot camp that we have for children and teenagers, where we teach them more and more and more about money. So try it and get your children on board, especially if they've not been part of the Money Click Kids program. Please, this is another opportunity for you. Remember, the Money Click Kids program, we only take in children once in the year, right? And this is another opportunity for them to get a feel of money lessons, for them to learn about money before they have that opportunity to join again in January 2027. Just reach out to us on any of our admin numbers, and we'll give you the details on how you can bring your children on board. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Happy to have you all here today. Remember, we're back here again tomorrow, 12 noon, to have our Thursday live session. Don't miss it. My name remains Chukwemeka Onyenizi, and I am a billionaire coach. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence the financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing for Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwuemeka Oyenizi and I'm the founder of the Buyer Academy. Bye-bye. So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence the financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing for Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwuemeka Oyenizi and I'm the founder of the Buyer Academy. Bye-bye.